Good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Still kind of rainy out here. It's a little bit wet, but this is my thing. And it's kind of funny because I actually gave advice to somebody today because they're going through some trials and tribulations, and they need to reassess what they're doing and change what they're doing and start working on getting another job. They've been thinking for a long time that they need a different job, that it's run its course and there's no room for growth and you're taken for granted. But year after year after year, they've stayed at the same job. And I said, well, here's what I said. I said, what you need to do is you need to, go to the fire pit. They said, what do you mean go to the fire pit? I said, I go to the fire pit every day, at the end of the day, and I reflect on the day to say, okay, did everything I could to better my situation? Did I do everything I could to be a better person? And if my goal is to find a different path or career or relationship or whatever it is, what did I do today to get forward there? Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have a fire pit. It could be a certain spot at the end of the day that you just go and reflect. It might be in front of the fireplace if you have a fireplace. It might be in the den that nobody's allowed to sit in. You old-time black people understand this. You definitely understand this. There's always a room in the house that you're not allowed to go in. You got nice furniture and everything in there, but you're not allowed to go in there. Now, back in the day, they used to have actually plastic covering that went on it. Yeah, right. You guys know, you old school people like me know. But maybe it's going into the living room that nobody's allowed to go into at the end of the day for a few minutes and just sit there and think. Hell, it might even be on the damn toilet. But as long as you know that every day this is the spot to end my day, to reflect and figure out what it is I need to do different, then you will get better with your situation. I'm telling you, it's done miracles for me. This is my spot. That every day I try and come down here if I'm home. Rain or shine, hot or cold. That's why it's good that it's a fire pit, because when it's cold out, at least I got a fire. So, we have our Dallas Cowboys. Week number 8 for us. We have the hated Philadelphia Eagles, much like the Washington football team. The season is not the season that we wanted, expected, but then again, 2020, I can't say anybody said, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted for 2020. Oh my God, 2020 has been great. No, I don't know anybody like that. And if you do, call the men in white suits and lock them up because they're crazy. Nobody wanted this year like this. Nobody. And maybe you just got to look at this year and say it's a wash. Now you're seeing, of course, it's funny because I guess I'm in this category too, where sports talk and YouTube and things like that it's really more like Gossip Central. Yesterday we knew Xavier Woods wasn't at practice. They hadn't disclosed why. And after the Cowboys trading Everson Griffin and letting Dontari Poe, who Jerry Jones said was overweight, and that's why he got cut. But it's probably some other things in there. He's just using that as an excuse. Probably just using that as an excuse. I mean, that's one of the reasons, but the play hasn't been good, and you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so when Xavier Woods is in there, speculation, gossip. And of course, today he was full go at practice, so that killed that. But one of the big things now, of course, is the dead man walking report. Coaches on the hot seat. Is Mike Nolan going to get fired before the season's over? Will he make it to next year? Is Mike McCarthy one and done? Will the Cowboys be better off firing him now? Did the Cowboys make a mistake hiring Mike McCarthy? Maybe Aaron Rodgers was right and he ended up taking a lot of the cover and flack that Mike McCarthy would have had he not had him. Is Mike McCarthy worse than Jason Garrett? We're getting all of that kind of stuff. If we go back, and I don't have, I wish I had the answer. I wish I did. I wish I magically knew all the answers and could just somehow teleport them into the mind of Jerry Jones and say, Jerry, step into the fire here, Jerry. I have the answer that you've been seeking. Do this to win another Super Bowl. I wish I could do that. I wish I could. I don't have the answers. I would have thought that, and maybe we all owe Jason Garrett an apology, because Jason Garrett, even when things got bad in 2018, where we were 3-5 and everybody was calling for us to, pack it in, start all over. Somehow we didn't pack it in and start all over. We kept ourselves together as a team, and we kept fighting, and we ended up that season winning the division. We're at the crossroads of the same situation right here. Now, if we get a win, we'll be exactly the same position, 3-5, that we were, but with other teams not as good as they were in 2018. So that would be a plus. But the interesting thing is going back through history, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, there was always a beef there because Aaron Rodgers was mad because Mike McCarthy thought that Alex Smith should be the number one pick, and Aaron Rodgers dropped into the 20s. So when Mike McCarthy was hired as head coach, there was always that tension between the two of them. He never quite really trusted Mike McCarthy, and he was always just, I hate this guy. And that first year, when Mike McCarthy got there, they were 2-4. They started out 2-4. Didn't play good. But by the end of the year, they ended up 8-8. The next year, they were 13-3. So do we look at this and say, listen, Mike McCarthy inherited a team of somebody else's players and didn't have a complete off season to try and implement a system, that we had to go with what they had already with Kellen Moore's offense. The defense, well, we start all over, and maybe Mike Nolan was the wrong hire because he was his buddy, and Mike Nolan really hasn't been successful for quite a while. Maybe that one was a bad hire. Maybe that ends up being the sacrificial lamb to appease the masses to say, okay, we're going to get a different defense coordinator. I don't know. But at this point, firing him now makes no sense. You have to see how the team responds. I don't know if it's going to change anything that we see on the field, but at least what we're hearing from the players and the press has improved as far as an attitude. What we heard a few weeks ago was, we're soft. The coaches don't know how to teach. They don't know what they're doing. Now, you have players that are looking introspectively, looking at themselves and saying, what can I do to be better? I don't hear Mike McCarthy pointing the finger at the team or Mike Nolan saying it's not that complex, that a high school team runs it. And maybe, just maybe, the bloodletting of a few players has got the attention and the focus on the field. I don't know. I am the optimist. I like to try and look for the positives in everything. Sometimes you have bad shit happens, but in the end, it ends up being a blessing and a positive thing. Happens all the time. When you're knee deep in the middle of it, you look at it and say, woe is me, I can't believe shit's this bad. But then you come back around and look at it and say, that was the moment that things started to turn around to get me where I am. And I'm always going to believe that. So, with the Eagles coming in, The last damn thing I want is for us to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh my God. Last thing I want to do is a walk of shame for Philly 500. I'd rather for the Cowboys to lose to the Eagles and me to have to do the walk of shame. I'd rather walk across this hot glass than have that. That ain't no joke. I'd rather walk across this hot glass than to see my Cowboys lose to the Eagles. All right, y'all. It's been another day. Thankful that I'm here. Remember, find your place so you can get yourself right. Hope you guys had a good one, and I'll see you soon.